Hello and welcome to another very special episode of Tokyo Daily. My name is Lachie and I will be your host this evening. And no Harper. Harper's he's done a tremendous job the last couple of days, but he's very gracefully handed me the reins for tonight. So look, hopefully I can live up to the great man's his already impressive episodes he's done the last couple of days. And first off, I'm going to start off with a review of yesterday's results, day one of the Olympic Games, which is the 24th of July. Now, I'll start off with the swimming. As Australians, we all know that our Olympic hopes seem to live and die by swimming. So that's where I'll start off with today's review. Now, first off, so the women qualified for the 4x100 metre freestyle final, which was absolutely phenomenal. They won their heat with a time of 3 minutes 31 seconds. It was a cracking time, and the women are actually favourites to take out the event. And it was led by 17-year-old Molly O'Callaghan, Meg Harris, Maddie Wilson, and Bronte Campbell. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the team with Emma MacLeod, who qualified for the semi-final of her butterfly event earlier today, being available, as well as Kate Campbell. In other events, so Brendan Smith set an Australian record in the men's 400 individual medley and is now qualified for the time final. He had the fastest qualifying time with 4 minutes 09 and was absolutely tremendous. In the men's 400 metre freestyle, Elijah Winnington, who is a favourite for the event and a great gold medal chance, qualified for the final, as well as fellow Australian Jack McLaughlin, who both came equal fourth with the time of 3 minutes 45. Matthew Wilson qualified for the semi-final in the men's 100 metre breaststroke with a time of 1 minute. And that is all for swimming today. Now, in other events, so Australia got a bit of a scare today in the men's hockey against Japan. They trailed at one stage 2-3, despite the fact Australia are the number one ranked team and one of the strongest in the sport. However, they ended up eventual winners 5-3 to set up a great game tomorrow against fourth ranked India. In water polo, the Stingrays, which is the women's water polo team, had a cracking win against Canada, winning 8-5. And where do we begin's very own Lena Mihailovic absolutely was awesome. And both Harper and I cheered her on greatly from our TVs. And I'll tell you what, speaking of TVs, I reckon I've done about 1,000 steps today. That's what my watch is telling me. So a long day of watching the Olympics, but I wouldn't change it for the world. What else would you want to be doing in lockdown? Now back to the results. Now, Australia trounced Japan in the other doubles with Ash Barty and Storm Sanders cleaning up in 50 minutes in an awesome performance. And hopefully the tennis can be another strong sport for Australia with Ash leading the way. Now, no Kyrgios, no Tomic, no problems for John Millman, who won his first match in the men's singles. In women's badminton, Australia unfortunately lost to Indonesia today. In the softball, Australia's mixed start continues, losing 1-7 to Canada. Hopefully the girls can pull it back and start winning a few more matches. In the rowing, in particular the men's pair event, Sam Hardy and Joshua Hicks have put in a dominant performance, winning their heat and going further. And again, it's going to be a great medal chance for Australia. Now, the current medal tally has China out on top with 2 golds. However, with many finals tomorrow, which we'll be getting to in the following preview of day 2 results, I'm sure Australia will finish off the day hopefully with a gold medal or 2. Now, Harper's got a cracking interview to get to, so I won't deprive the listeners of our Harper for too much longer. Thank you.
Hey, Hayley, welcome to the show. Thanks very much for coming on. I reckon we'll just get straight into it. So a couple of big names have pulled out for both the Opals and the Boomers from an Australian side of things. Can you talk to us a bit about that, please?
Yeah, obviously it's not great to have neither Simmons or Cambridge out there for the Boomers or Opals, but they're obviously great players and they would have made a huge difference to both teams. But you've got to move on sort of pretty quickly from those players, and with Simmons, it's a bit different. He's never sort of been there for Australia. You're not used to seeing him out there, and the players even aren't sort of used to playing with him. So he's not so much of a loss in terms of how the team plays. But when you look at Cambridge, she's sort of been the engine room in the centre, sort of focal point of the Opals for quite a few years now. So she's going to be a massive loss. But I just love what both teams have done in the warm-up games, and they look both ready to go without those 2 stars. So it'll be great to see how they go.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Who do you reckon, just from the women's side of things, who do you reckon could step up in Liz Cambridge's place?
Yeah, Ezzy Magbegor is an absolute star, and she's still only 21 years old, and she's just so good, and I feel like she's primed for a massive Olympics, and she's sort of been touted as the next great opal, and she certainly showed signs of being able to do that. So I'm looking forward to seeing her out there.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Hopefully they do well. I know the Opals, they got like 5 medals in a row between 96 and 2012, but never that gold, never that elusive gold. So hopefully they can go all the way this time. How do you reckon their chances, what do you reckon their chances are like for medaling or even getting a gold in Tokyo?
Yeah, when you sort of had Cambridge in there, you were sort of hopeful for a gold, but I think sort of expectations do have to change slightly without her in there. So I think they're still very capable of a medal, and I'll certainly be hoping they are. But you look at the USA team, and they're just loaded with not just superstars but legends of the game, and they're definitely going to be very hard to beat. So the group they're in, they've got some tough opponents in there as well. So if they can get through the group stage pretty well, they'll have a lot of momentum. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see just that group stage to get started.
Yeah, we'll talk about that group in just a sec, but just for the people that haven't heard about it, what was Cambridge's reasoning for pulling out just prior to the games?
Yeah, so a week out, she pulled out because of mental health issues. So we obviously wish her the best and hope she can get on top of that, because she has talked about that in the past as really being an issue for her. So hopefully she can get the help she needs and be back out in the green and gold when she can.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And I'm not a basketball guy really, but she's an absolute superstar. I know that. But now I promised we'll talk about the group. Australia's ranked second in the world, and all the teams in the group are ranked below them. Obviously, it's hard not to be being second in the world for the Aussies. So can you tell us a bit about their chances and who are the teams they're going to be facing?
Yeah, so in their group, they've got Belgium and China are the two major sort of threats to them, and they'll both be big games, their first 2 games, so straight into it for the Opals. They don't have any warm-up, straight into it. And yeah, the Belgium, they've got some great players out there, as do China, and then they've got Puerto Rico in their group as well. But if they can get, as I said earlier, if they can get through those 3 games unscathed, they'll be really primed for going into the finals, I think.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, we see them get through. I think they need to finish top 2, and then a couple of the third place teams get through to the next round as well. So probably more likely than not, we'll see them progress. It's all a matter of what happens from there. But in terms, just quickly, one more thing on the women's side of things. Teams outside the group, I know the US is a big powerhouse, big force, but some other teams that could be challenging Australia for medals?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, obviously USA as always, but then Serbia, they just won the Eurobasket, and they're going to come in with lots of confidence, and they've played a lot together, which is key when you're coming into an Olympics. They've played together, and they're going to be huge threat, really. And then you've got Spain as well. So there's going to be some great teams, and Canada, to be honest. So, yeah, that's going to be, I think it's going to be an exciting tournament on the women's side of things, just because I haven't played together lots of teams haven't played together as one because of COVID, and there's going to be some upsets, I think, but hopefully the Opals aren't on that side of things.
Oh, yeah, fingers crossed. Now, I'll put you on the spot a bit here. Last thing on the women, I want a prediction for the gold medal and a prediction for how far the Opals are going to
go. Look, I sadly have to go Team USA for the gold. But I think the Opals will be right there, either in the gold medal match, going to gold, or the bronze match. So I think a medal is absolutely a good chance for the Opals.
And when do the Opals get started?
They start on Tuesday night, I believe, against Belgium, which will be a massive game.
Yeah, so keep an eye out on that one, of course, across all of Channel 7's platforms, of course. But now, onto the men. Of course, Ben Simmons pulling out, as we mentioned earlier. Who do you reckon can step up in his place?
So obviously Matisse Thybulle he's been awesome in first time representing Australia, and he's come into the squad and looks really comfortable already in those couple of warm-up games. And his defense is going to be such a key when you're looking at the teams that have so much offensive power out there. So he's going to be great. And in the point guard side of things, where Simmons does play, you got Daly, so he'll be giving it all he can. And Sobey's a great point guard as well. So hopefully those can come in along with Exum as well and sort of make up for what Simmons. You're not going to be Simmons, but if you can help make up for that, it's all you can ask for, really.
Yeah, very, very exciting times for Australian basketball as a whole, really. And for the Boomers, as a bit of an outsider, I don't reckon I've ever kind of heard as much excitement around the team, having never medalled, of course. Is it true? Do you reckon this is their biggest chance yet?
Absolutely. I think they've come so close in World Cups and Olympics in recent years. And I think the most important thing with this team is they've been together now for so many years. They know each other so well. They like each other, which is key. And I just think they are ready for a massive Olympics. And when you've got Paddy Mills, who turns into a completely different player when he pulls on the green and gold, I think anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen indeed. But the Boomers are almost as high as the Opals in the world. They're third, and the teams in their group, Germany, 17th, Italy in 10th, and Nigeria, 22nd in the world. So can you tell me a bit about those teams?
So Nigeria, they may be ranked sort of lower, but they're coming in. They're going to be a huge threat. That first game against Nigeria will tell a lot about both teams, and it's going to be a massive one. We obviously beat Nigeria in a warm-up the other week in Las Vegas, but Nigeria did also beat Team USA over there. So they're going to have plenty of confidence there, and they're going to come in firing. So that's the sort of team to watch here in the Boomers group.
And what about Italy and Germany? Do you reckon they pose much of a threat to Australia getting through to the next round?
Yeah, they both have some NBA players in their squad, so they're definitely going to be a challenge to beat. Any team really is a challenge, so it's anyone's game. But they're obviously not quite up there with Australia in terms of NBA players and star power, but they can definitely turn it on.
Yeah, whatever sport it is, really, it's this kind of tournament competition thing. One bad mistake in a game, or one bad game, one-off game for the team can just destroy your chances. And you mentioned the first game against Nigeria. When's that?
So tonight. So 6:20, I believe it is. Yeah, it's going to be a massive one. So get behind the Boomers.
Yeah, get behind the Boomers, exactly. I'll be tuning with great interest. And other teams, obviously, again, Team USA, the favourites for the gold medal, I reckon. That's what I've heard. Any other teams that are going to be in and about there, in and around there?
Yeah, so obviously, you do have Team USA. They've just unbelievable team, but they've got to put it all together, which I think they will. But they're going to be obviously the gold medal favourite, and then there's probably us, and you've got sort of Spain and Serbia. They're always around there as well, and then you've got Luka Doncic's Slovenia, who he can do what he wants out there basically, and he could carry a team to a medal basically. So he's always a threat, and there's just so many good teams out there in the men's side of things that they all pose a threat.
And time to put you on the spot again. Prediction, gold medal, and how are the Boomers going to go?
Well, look, I would once again love to say Australia for gold, but I just think Team USA, they just have too much. They're just a team that any player there can go for 30 points a game basically and turn a game on its head by themselves. So I'd like to say Australia for silver. I absolutely believe they can get a medal, and if they're in the gold medal match against America, quite frankly, I'd be pretty confident they'd be able to be right with them all the way basically. So I would love to see that, a gold medal matchup against Team USA. It would just be massive for Australian basketball, but we've got a fair bit to get through to get to that.
Yeah, of course. But just one more on Team USA. They're kind of known, as lots of teams are, for kind of big players pulling out for whatever reason before the tournament. So what's their kind of squad? What's their roster looking like building up to the tournament?
Yeah, they've got an incredible squad. They've obviously, some players aren't there. LeBron, Steph Curry's not there, but you've got Kevin Durant, who is, in my eyes, probably the best player in the world. And then you've got Dame Lillard. You just got stars everywhere they're just an unbelievable. And they've got three players that just were in the NBA Finals that have just flown over. So Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Devin Booker, who weren't there for the warm-up games, they'll come in and they're just going to add another layer of star power to the Team USA.
Oh, yeah. They're intimidating prospect for anyone to face, I reckon. But just before we go, where can the listeners and the viewers find your work, Hayley?
So on the pick and roll, right for them, we cover all of Australian basketball all around the world, and we just love Australian hoops. And on Twitter, I'm at Wildes_Hayley. So, yeah, get involved.
Give Hayley a follow. I bet she'd appreciate that a lot, and I appreciate you coming on the show a lot. So thanks very much. Look forward to speaking to you more throughout the games.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
That was a cracking interview, Halves. I learned a lot about the basketball, and that has me even more keen for Australia's games later on in the tournament. So now we'll do a preview of the events for tomorrow, the 25th of July, 2021, for the second day of the games. The first we'll go through are the Where Do We Begin guests. So we have Rachel Lynch, who was one of my personal favourites, I must admit. She'll be playing tomorrow in the Australia v Spain, 11 a.m. Pool B match. I really hope that the girls can get off to a cracking start. And then, of course, we also have Stacey Heimer, who unfortunately I didn't have the great pleasure of interviewing. She'll be performing tomorrow in the round of 16s at approximately 2:44 p.m. Very exact times for the Olympics, which I absolutely love. Now let's get on to the other events that Australians will be in tomorrow. So first up, we got the surfing for the round one. And so we have Steph Gilmore on the women's shortboard at 12:40 and also Sally Fitzgibbon at 12 o'clock. That's PM. And by the way, all these times, Australian Eastern Standard Times. I probably should have started off with that, but that's what you get when you don't have the Harps. He's very much he's the professional one. If you want the facts, you go to old Harps. But those two, both Steph and Sally, are great gold medal chances for Australia. So I'll definitely be tuning into those ones. In the skateboarding, we actually have the men's street event, which is the first time that the event has ever run. And I'm just super pumped about that. Australia's got Shane O'Neill. He's in Heat 4 at 11:58 tomorrow. And it's a really interesting event because the final's also on the same day. And hopefully Shane can bring home gold for the Australia. And I'm super interested to see how this event goes with it being the first time it's at the Games, as surfing is. Now, in the tennis, Ash, great victory today. Ash, the Australia's treasure, if you will. She'll be playing at 12 tomorrow against Sarah Tormo. And I hope I got that pronunciation correct, but as we know, that's not my strong suit. And yeah, Ash will be done just in time for the Tigers game at 3. So she's playing that well. Ash is a massive Tigers fan. In the basketball, now this is probably the event that I'm looking most forward to. Australia is playing against Nigeria at 6:20. And, it's going to be super exciting to see Paddy and Dante Exum and Daly, just so much NBA talent in that lineup. And so, so this is probably the event that I'm looking forward most to. I'm sure Harbs has already covered it off really well in his last interview. So I won't add too much more. We also have the beach volleyball's on tomorrow, and Australia is playing at 1 p.m. So that'll also be awesome. Australia's had great success in the past with so hopefully that can continue in these games. And then here's the big one. So for the men's hockey, Australia, which is currently ranked first, is coming up against fourth placed India. And they're playing at 7:30 tomorrow. And obviously Australia had a bit of a scare today against Japan, so they're going to want to be in better form, but they're such a great gold medal chance. So again, this is going to be a much watched game. And now in the men's water polo, they're also playing at 4:30 tomorrow. They're playing against Montenegro. I don't think I pronounced that right, but you know what? We're not all perfect. So, and they're actually coming off great form, Montenegro. So they won the World Super League final in July against USA. So Australia's got a really tough start for water polo, but hopefully they can pull through and get some early wins on the board, which will be crucial for the event because we're a really solid medal chance. Now, finally, we have the swimming. So first, we got the men's 400-metre freestyle final. And famously, MacLeod, who was the last gold medal, didn't actually qualify for the Australian team. But luckily, we got Elijah Winnington and Jack McLaughlin. And they both got the same time in the heats, which was done last night. And Elijah's actually a favourite for this event. So tune in as we're a really solid gold medal chance. Now, we also have the men's 400-metre individual medley final with Brendan Smith will be competing in that. That's at 11:30 tomorrow. So just before the freestyle final. He actually had the fastest qualifying time with a time of 4 minutes 09, which is also an Australian record. And it's huge for the Olympic debutant. I think he's 21 years old. So hopefully Brendan, with that strong heat showing, can bring home gold, which will be absolutely awesome. And particularly with the favourite, Japan's own Seto Daya, he failed to qualify in the final despite being a favourite for the event. So it's going to be a really open field, and it's one that I'm super keen on. We'll also have the women's 4x100 freestyle final tomorrow. So hopefully our women's team, they can compete well and bring home. They're one of the medal favourites for that, and another one that I'm super pumped for. Finally, we also have Jess Fox in the canoe slalom. She's one of our best gold medal chances. She's got a really solid chance in 2 events. Tomorrow she's competing in the K1. You can catch her first run at 250. And her second run will be at 4:58. So make sure you tune into that, because Jess is such great pre-game height. And I know Lucian couldn't speak more highly on her. Lucian Delfour is competing in the men's K1. So, I'm super excited to see how Jess goes, and I'm sure you are all too. And of course, we have Australia v Spain in the soccer. Who knew that this would be such a cracking match a couple of days ago? But with Australia coming off that 2-0 win against Argentina, they're in great form. And I think they're just... the whole country's riding the hopes. I'm not going to give you much analysis on that as I'm not a soccer expert, but again, this is going to be such a massive challenge for the Australians. But given their current form, I think they're well and truly up for it. So that's all. So those are the events that I've picked out that my eye spied on with Australians competing tomorrow that I think are worth a watch. Now, finally, we, of course, have our question of the week, which Harpsy boy, he's picked a good one this week. It's your favourite obscure Olympic sport. Now, there's many obscure ones, and mine, I've gone with the 3x3 basketball. Now, no, don't judge me. I'm not just a basic person who likes basketball, but for me, the fact that my lunchtime basketball games is now an Olympic sport just makes me wish that I tried harder in those times that when I was in year 10, because who knows, I could have been an Olympian. That's all. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope I didn't stuff it up for you, Harps. I tried my best, and we'll catch you tomorrow with another cracking daily episode from Where Do We Begin? My name's Lachie. See ya.